Welcome again to EDT 520. As we get started, I find it's often helpful for students to have a sense of how to navigate the learning management tools in the online environment. So this video is designed to give you that overview. When you log into Blackboard, it should look like this, and you will see that there's a whole series of areas down the left-hand side. This is where you're able to check your grades and your progress in the course. You will have some links to general information, and Blackboard is where I post the static content, meaning it's the instructions, it's the what to do, it's the resources, and the way you navigate to those is if you see down here, I've divided the course into a series of units. So learning environments will be our first unit, and if you click in here, you'll see the essential questions that we'll be working on during this unit. I often will give you an about this unit to help frame the learning, and then for each week there is a link or a set of documents to guide you through the learning that week. So you click on that and it will open in a new window, and these are the different resources that I'm asking you to interact with and make sense of each week. So you can read through this. Sometimes there's videos that I'm asking you to launch and watch. Sometimes it's documents. And then there's always a chart that says create learning evidence, and that's where I try and be really clear about what are the expectations, where are you going to be submitting that, due dates, and then how are you assessed. Additionally, below that, for each of those tasks, I give you the instructions and any necessary information. I also try and do a time estimate. Please let me know if those time estimates are consistently inaccurate for you. I recognize that it'll be a range, but I do want them to be representative of the work that it takes. So those are the instructions. So again, Blackboard is primarily where I recommend folks start as they begin engaging with our class, because this will be where each week I tell you sort of what the next pieces are, the how-to, and it's the static content. The other learning management system we'll be using is Google Classroom, and I use both so that folks can contrast the experiences because they're very different and they are good at different things, I find. So Google Classroom, when you log in, if you've got multiple classes, you'll see a profile like this, and I've given you instructions how to join if you are not familiar with it. When you join our class, it should look like this with my picture up at the top, and there's three different sections. There's the stream, which acts like other social media where the most recent content is going to be at the top. And you are able, using the plus button, to add content to the stream. You just click on it, and then I believe for yours from the student profile it says create post, and you can publish from there. On the students page, you'll be able to see everyone else who's in the class and their @maton.edu email. So that's a nice way to be able to contact each other right from here. The About page is a page that allows me to post some static content. So one of the first things you'll do is you'll be clicking here to add to this document to introduce yourself to your class members. So again, Google Classroom is going to be where we have our discussions, where you submit work, and where you also can share. If you read an interesting article and you want to share it to the stream, please do so. The other thing to realize in Google Classroom is that it can, by default, it's set for a lot of notifications. If you click up here on the little lines and go all the way down, go all the way down to your settings, that's where you can choose whether or not you want email notifications. Those will go to your @main.edu email, and some students really like them because it helps them stay engaged, and some students prefer not to get them. So again, and then you can go back into the class like this. So Blackboard is sort of the more static, teacher-directed materials. Google Classroom, on the other hand, is going to be the more dynamic discussion classroom student-centered learning. Since there aren't students in our class yet, I did just want to show you one other thing. So I'm going into a playground class, and that's what you'll notice here is that this is a question, and this is a comment, okay? This little icon means it's an assignment. So those are some different ways you'll interact. Again, if you want to create an assignment, you can write, thanks for the suggestion. I'm sorry, I said assignment. If you want to create a post, you can do that. You can tag students from the class in your post, and that's sort of a nice feature so that when you use that plus symbol, plus their @maine.edu, it generates an email to them specifically. So if you're responding, that plus can be a really nice, nice way to do that. So I wanted to show you that piece. Let me know if you have questions. I realize that navigating the multiple environments is new for some, but I find that it provides a really useful way for us to talk about how do you organize learning and how do you leverage tools in the best way. So thanks for watching and for playing with the different navigations.